Borrowing money is like a double-edged sword. You can get away with it and become wealthy, or it can destroy you completely. My name is Peter Simboni, and today I want to talk about debt and why you should or should not borrow money. And before I talk about this subject, I normally like to refer to the acquisition of Twitter. And the cost of purchasing the platform was about 46 billion. Surprisingly, Musk spent only 9.6% of the total money that he was supposed to pay. Other money came from banks, like banks gave him about 21 billion, and then another money came from equity investors. So the question basically is, if he really wanted the platform, why was it hard for him to liquidate part of his 200 billion fortune and just acquire Twitter by himself? Well, there are a lot of arguments on that, because debt is not a bad thing, and how you're going to utilize the debt will determine on whether or not it's a good thing. For instance, you cannot borrow money to buy shoes. You cannot borrow money to buy food. You cannot borrow money to buy clothes. You have to borrow money and put it somewhere where it grows, and part of the proceeds can be used to repay the debt. What I'm talking about here basically is, we have good debts and we have bad debts. Good debts are debts where they finance themselves. Like, you borrowed maybe 500,000 to start a business, and you're supposed to pay maybe 20,000 every month. And that business is capable of giving you 50,000 every month. So you see, you pay 20,000 to the lender, and you remain with about 30,000. And that 30,000 now is your money. So you are using their money to make some money. And after you pay the debt, the business remains, and you continue earning 50,000, or you can maybe upscale your business. So in that way, if you are safe, then debt can save you. On the other hand, if you borrow money and put it in a liability, and you have to pay interest from which you are not earning anything, then what it simply means is you are working for the lender. You've decided now that part of your income, hard-earned income, the lender is going to earn that particular money. And you have to be really careful on the same. And that is why I normally advise people, you have to analyze the interest. You have to analyze the interest rates of that debt, and then you gauge it to where you are taking that money. For instance, if you borrow 20,000 shillings that you're supposed to repay in 2 months, just make sure that 20,000 is going to earn you at least 10,000. Because if you pay maybe 5,000 to the lender plus the 20,000, you ought to remain with something. Unless you do that, you might find yourself borrowing money, investing in a business. The interest rates of that loan is a bit high. The returns of the business are lower. And then you end up paying more. You're earning less, you're paying more. And that simply means you're going to rotate into a crisis. And the moment that debt cannot give you sufficient returns, you'll go for another debt. So you'll be suffering paying high interest rates, and yet the returns are not rewarding. So you should be very, very careful with debts. And another thing I wish us to talk about is why is it important? Why should I can still live my own life without... Well, there is that argument where you can just live without debts. But if you want to leverage your wealth creation, if you want to leverage your income, then I think debt is the best way to go, because sometimes coming up with capital can be a bit intensive, and some businesses are cost intensive to start. So you may want to find people who are willing to listen to your idea and give you money to sponsor that idea. And then you have terms on how you're going to share the proceeds. At S&P Ventures, for instance, we work with so many businesses. We work with graphic designers. We work with we work with people who brand. We work with web developers. So when they get a gig, they come to us and explain, this is the maybe local purchase order, and we may want to get some additional income to sponsor this gig, and after we finish this business, this is how much we will make, and part of it we will pay you. So we work with so many businesses, and of course you can always reach out to the website and see some of the services that we do, especially in asset financing and in business financing. We shall walk you through and explain why, if you qualify or if you don't qualify. And another thing is I want to talk about the relationship between saving and borrowing. Now, this is a good one, because I've tried it personally and it has worked for me. I've advised my clients and it has also worked for them. You need to have this relationship whether you are saving and you are borrowing. So it's like your savings are guaranteeing your borrowing. And let's say you start off by 5,000 shillings. You save 5,000 shillings. And if you have good lenders, like of course S&P Ventures, they'll say, with the 5,000 that you have saved, we can give you 8,000. So you've used your 5,000 to secure 8,000. Now, what you do, you may not want to withdraw the 5,000. You may want to repay the 8,000, and you're still saving on the 5,000. So how this really works is, by the time you finish paying the 8,000, you have boosted your savings all the way to 10,000. So part of the money you earn, you pay the loan, you save. You pay the loan, you save. And then you're like, you have saved 10,000, you've cleared the debt. Then you come at S&P and say, well, I have now saved 10,000. Give me 15,000. So you're using the 10,000 to secure an extra 5,000. You're taking that to the business. Remember, your 10,000 is still secure and you're not going to withdraw it. So you start paying the debt. You pay the 15,000, you save. You pay, you save. You pay, you save. By the time you finish paying the 15,000, maybe you've saved up to 20,000, and then you're given maybe 30 or 35, and then you save 30, 50. That relationship grows, and in other terms, this is basically boosting your credit score. And it reaches a time now you're given 2 times your savings because of that particular relationship. You're given maybe 3 times your saving, and that's where the tarmac, the rubber meets the tarmac, because now you'll come to your lenders and say, hey, we've been working together, I've seen potential in my business, I want to go big. That is now when we say, well, you've also shown some goodwill, and well, we can finance you even more. And then you're given a lot of money now to start off your business. So the saving and borrowing relationship is very healthy. Whenever you're going for a date, ensure you have some money set aside to sponsor that particular debt. And that is also important, because sometimes you may be burdened by the debt. So part of your savings can be used at very extreme circumstances to repay your debt. So you see, now you have at least the basis. You save 10,000, don't withdraw the 10,000. Use the 10,000 to negotiate for a bigger amount. And it makes sense for creditors, because at the end of the day, this guy has 10,000. Why can't I give them 15,000? That's exactly what we do. You save, you use the savings to secure the loan. And then as you pay the loan, you continue the saving. That relationship, it becomes healthy even for you. Because every time you see your money grows, you are dead sure that you are eligible for maybe 2 times the amount that you are saving. So it reaches a point you have 200,000. That means you can get up to 300, 400,000, depending on the relationship. So keep in mind that relationship. And of course, when you want to learn more about finance, saving, spending, investing, and making money, keep in touch on this channel. Ensure you've subscribed to this channel. And of course, you can always visit the website and learn more information about finances. Thank you very much. See you in the next episode.